Now, the Institute for Gender and Development Studies and the Faculty of Food and Agriculture at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus are proud to partner in this year-long campaign to #Invest in Our Planet, which is the theme of Earth Day 2023. And so joining us to tell us more about the program is Head of the Department of Institute for Gender and Development Studies, Dr. Suan Bharat. Dr. Bharat, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the Institute for Gender and Development Studies, tell us about the Institute and, of course, some of the courses offered under that department.
The Institute, of course, has been around for 30 years. In fact, we celebrate our 30th year while the university celebrates its 75th year this year.
Right.
And we have been committed to building and developing gender equity, equality, and justice in the region and beyond.
Right.
Of course, we are a regional institute. We are based in Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and Mona, with our coordinating office at Center at Mona. And through integrated action, we commit to that mandate. What kind of courses can you get? You get it in categories, both at postgrad and undergraduate.
Nice.
You are engaged in theory and theory development. You are engaged in activism and movement building, and you're also engaged in understanding real life and real problems. We take the position that we understand reality through the experiencing subject, the person who lives it, the person who paints, the person who dances, the person who deals with problems, the person who's struggling with flooding right now.
Yes.
So when you come to the Institute, you will then be engaged in a host of courses, either for an undergraduate minor or postgraduate diploma, MSc, MPhil, or PhD, that gives you this range of capacities to respond to real-life issues that we encounter on a daily basis.
For those who are viewing and maybe interested in participating or even applying to the UWI, tell us exactly what sort of criteria you look for. For example, are people still doing 5 CXC passes? Do you take work experience into consideration, that sort of thing?
Of course. For the university in general, there are matriculation requirements attached to your CXC and CAPE.
Right.
I almost said A-levels, showing my age. But yes, you must, for some programs, have these qualifications in place.
Right.
Of course, at CXC, there are programs that have pre-enrollment, pre-university level opportunities that you can then progress through. It depends on the program, but you must have, of course, your math and English. You must have the subjects relating to the discipline you wish to enter into, and you must ensure that you complete these at an acceptable grade, which is, I believe, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
At the Institute, of course, we don't offer majors at the undergraduate level. We offer minors.
Right.
And once you get into another program, we have no prerequisites for our courses. We are open to everyone from first to third year to come and do our courses that address men and masculinities, that address sex, gender, and society, that address feminist theory, that address how we work and labor, and so much more at the undergrad.
Dr. Bharat, quick question. So if I'm studying business, if I'm studying agriculture, I can still take one of the courses at the Institute as a minor.
Definitely.
It doesn't have to be that I'm studying history or English. I don't have to be on that path then. I can still take it as a minor?
You can, if you choose, based on your program, to add a gender minor, whether in the humanities or the social sciences or any other faculty, you can come to us. And we always like to say we add value to your degree. So I'm plugging it in that way.
And how do you apply?
You apply through the university's application system. Just go to the UWI website, St. Augustine website, and you will just click on applications, admissions, new programs, and follow the path.
Nice.
I can't remember the exact URL at this point, so forgive me for that.
And are applications open, and is there a deadline?
Yes, applications are open now. The deadline is July 31st. This is undergraduate, of course.
Right.
And postgraduate applications are rolling if it is MPhil and PhD. So research degrees, you can apply throughout the year. MSCs, again, July 31st, you must get diplomas and MSCs. You get it in by deadline. And we consider you for IGDS. You could have done any undergraduate degree. If you want to come in and do an MSc, a diploma, an MPhil or PhD, if we feel you need to do some courses before you get into it to just prep you, we will recommend those for you and give you guidance. And all programs, you get academic advising. So come, be brave, be ready to make a difference.
Let's switch gears a bit about the partnership with the Faculty of Food. Tell us about how that partnership came about.
Of course, as you would would have expected, would have experienced, would have witnessed, especially through the pandemic, which isn't fully gone, it's just depressed a little bit. Food insecurity is a real problem. Food insecurity being that inability to access healthy, nutritious, culturally appropriate food. We might have food, but if it cannot meet our calorie needs or nutrition needs, we're food insecure. So we've been working with the Faculty of Food and Agriculture to develop curriculum and develop interventions that harness our own capacity and build our capacity to address food injustices, gender injustices, and climate injustices. And these intersect because our most pressing insecurity, which is climate change, implicates gender injustice, food injustice, energy injustice, and so much more. So what is the partnership? According to the FFA, small changes make big impact, and according to us, we want to, as the globe did in 2022, invest in our planet. So on April 22nd, 2023, we re-engaged investment in our planet through this kind of call. What are people doing in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean to develop climate justice, to develop gender justice, to develop food justice and food security within our space organically? And we hope that as people share pictures or video of their work, we create exemplars within our own society. A lot of people might want to, I can't afford, I can't do this, I don't know what to do. But if you see people in your context, in community, then that community initiates a movement for change. Right. So we and FFA are committed between now and December to collect and then reproduce, both through publication and on social media, the work that is doing so much to make a change in our society and change the narrative from we are helpless and hopeless to we actually have proactive, engaging, successful in advocates, activists, and others who are trying to study how we build our resilience.
Dr. Bart, I'm just trying to understand the action plan. So is it that you are going into the communities to teach them composting? Is it that you are just having seminars? I mean, what exactly are you collecting from now until December to bring out that sort of publication or those kind of sort of educational materials? Okay,
from now to December, we're asking people, it's a kind of show and tell exercise. Send us 3 photographs. We have a submission brief on our website that gives you the dimensions and all the technical stuff. Send us 3 great photos and a story that tells us what you're doing and why you're doing it. So let's say you have a model farm and you're producing within community and feeding within community. We want to know about that. Let's say you are doing aquaponics and you're doing something, share that with us. If you're doing urban farming, so that if you live in an apartment or a small house or a homestead even, that you can augment your food bill, let us see that. So you send in your 3 photos and your story, or a 1.5-minute video and your story, making sure that is your content, of course. And once you have shared that with us, we collate it both in terms of a text and a sort of an online collation, a lookbook that says, if you wish to, here's how you can. And that we then use for further advocacy and campaigning beyond 2023 or at Earth Day 2024.
And does this form part of the My Caribbean Climate Action Plan?
Yes, this is hashtag My Caribbean Climate Action. Yes. You can email us at my-climateaction@sta.ue. Or just visit our website in IGDS and you'll see the campaign photos there.
Nice. Now, I also understand there's a Postgrad preview event supposed to be taking place at the end of the month. Tell us about that.
Yes, June 28th at Hilton, 6 to 9, or thereabouts. This is the second time. This is a moment where those who are curious about developing their education further, those who want to do research in particular areas across all faculties and departments, come into Hilton, sit down, talk with people who will teach you. This is the faculty. Talk with fellow students, students who they will meet and engage there, and learn about the possibilities for their development. So we want people to have an intimate relationship with our courses, our programs, our support services, the opportunities for, of course, working and developing your employment economic security and food security. You know, everything is interconnected. And in that moment, we have a relaxed yet informative engagement with our potential students. And it is peer-to-peer as well as faculty-to-peer, administrative to peer. And that gives potential students an opportunities to learn more. You mightn't have the time to come up to UWI every day. You mightn't navigate the website thoroughly, but if you sit there in person, you have that engagement with folks, which is so welcome after pandemic moments.
So many years at home, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
You then can say, okay, this postgraduate program can help me to enhance my capacity, my job potential, my potential for progress, my new areas I want to explore, my change of career. Come to Hilton, ask your questions. There are no inappropriate ideas in terms of education, of course. Yes. There are other. Right?
Dr. Barrett, now there are two quick questions I want to see if I can get in quickly because I know we're almost out of time. The first question is, if you do a minor, let's say in gender studies, and you understand this is something you want to do, you want to pursue, you take it to the postgrad level, what sort of career can you fit in when you complete that sort of degree?
All right, well, any degree you have, if you have a sequence of scholarship from the undergraduate to postgrad, of course you prepare yourself with a solid foundation.
Right.
In terms of the IGDS, if you come to the IGDS and you do a minor in gender studies, and then you move on to a diploma, MSc, or research degrees in gender and development or interdisciplinary gender studies, what you enter into, you can enter into policy evaluation and engagement, research, of course, and teaching and curriculum and capacity development. You can enter into social and other forms of advocacy work where you understand the underlying reasons for persistent problems. You know, when something happens in our society, we always ask why. These graduates are able to answer it, whether they're in the state environment, the corporate, or the civil society environment. Further to that, let's say you're a teacher, a psychologist, a counselor, a school guidance, anybody. You go there with a fuller understanding of the human condition. You go there to understand what are the core statuses, the core identities that frame why and how we do things. So if I'm trying to teach my student and I'm noticing there's something that is acting as a barrier to their learning, I evaluate them from their position as a human person. And that is the added value that we bring to your degree. Plus, we have a mentorship program called IGDS Ignite, where you don't have to be a student. You don't have to do Ignite. You don't have to do, a minor. But you come into that program, and through engagement with your peers, you learn how to make a change in your society or your community.
Dr. Barrett, and final question. Earlier you would have mentioned that there's some sort of implication, I'm not sure how you phrased it, but you were making a correlation between, let's say, climate change and gender injustice or gender and child development. How do we find that correlation between the two? I found that was very interesting. Now, you only have 30 seconds. I hope I can bring you back another time, but 30 seconds, let's do it.
30 seconds, let's go. Climate injustice affects individuals differently without equity. It's an inequitable experience. Gender injustice features discrimination and exclusion, and thus inequity. Food injustice results when people cannot access equitably nutritious, culturally appropriate food. So these three intersect at the point of inequity. And the impacts of climate change frustrate, undermine, mediate our ability to be resilient in our world, and in that moment, builds inequity. So that is how the three intersect, and that's why we must address them as intersecting factors.
Dr. Barrett, I have to have you back again. I have so many questions, but for now, let me thank you so much for joining us this morning. You mentioned that to get more information, we can go to which website? Just one more time.
www.igds@sta.uwi.edu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Barrett.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that was Dr. Suan Barrett, the head of department at the Institute for Gender and Development, just giving us a partnership that they're doing with the food department as it relates to #MyCaribbean Climate Action. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.